So I'm going to be talking like John Oliver, talking fast because I have a lot to cover. We may not get to questions here, but I'm already available outside. You can come talk to me. I want to give you the maximum benefits possible so that you take away something you can learn, and then hopefully you're able to peek into the future and look at what's happening. Yeah, this is a message of hope. There's no despair. There's no AGI coming to take our jobs. That's the highlight. I don't believe in it because each time I did one thing, they're like, oh my God, this AI is going to take over. And then I did the other AI and the other AI, and I'm still here. All right? All right, so we'll talk a little bit about my journey. I will talk some transformation that I was able to do. I will touch upon some real use cases as I go along, and then talk about Gen AI and why it's such a big deal. Yeah. So this is the good old Gen AI diagram. Everybody knows this. This is how you generally explain AI to each other. I'm very fortunate to have worked on every single aspect of it. Yeah. So if you ask me the question, Deepak, how did you plan to do this? There was no plan. But I can tell you three words. Every immigrant here knows those three words. You know what the three words are? Employer, dependent, visa. That's it. That is the answer to all that. Every single box is there because the first employer thought, he can do BAI. How hard can AI be? And as an immigrant, I'm thinking, sure, I've done the B, the A must be easier. So I've done that. I go to the other employer, the other guy says, well, you've done one kind of AI, how hard could it be? And then you do the other thing. And then you do the other thing, another thing, and then you fool yourself into thinking you can do it. Right? So for 10 years, I've been fooling myself and others at the same time, but still have a job. So I must have doing something right. Yeah? But the point I'm trying to make here was that as the journey progressed, a lot of things changed with my own skill set, with the world, with the businesses, and hopefully that is what I'll take you because the natural progression there is you'll see a much smaller circle inside the yellow circle. That will happen, but other things will also happen which are not related to that. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about because the evolution is going in a whole different way. Yeah? So this is my timeline. I started back in 2000s. 2000s, it was called statistics. Anybody here a statistician? Damn, you're my people. Because that's what they were called back then. They were not called data scientists, they were called statisticians. Right? And we hired them, they came into the team, and they're like, whoa, this is weird. Yeah, we know. This is weird for us too. So what am I going to do? Your job is to predict churn. What does that mean? The hell do we know? Some guy paid us money to do it. So he's like, let's do logistic regression. Fantastic. I don't know what that means. But like I said, I had a visa situation. I said, of course we'll do it. Hell not. Why the hell won't we do it? And then we did it, right? But one thing helped. And I'm not plugging the company here, but we're basically at the mercy of Google. I'll tell you why. Anybody remember the paper Big Table? Yeah? Some people know. Anybody remember Hadoop? Right. Remember, that started everything. Because once you had Hadoop, until before that, you had Netezza. Anybody remember Netezza? That doesn't even exist now, part of IBM. So basically, they spent a lot of money processing huge amounts of data for a lot of money. And open source people were freaked out. They said, this is too expensive. Let's go build an open source version, which led to Hadoop, which led to Spark, which led to Big Data London. Yeah, and we are here because they wrote the paper, and all AI accelerated after that. I was lucky enough to be there at that time because our first AI product was launched on Netezza. The ROI was terrible. For example, for this telecom company, we predicted churn using a logistic regression model. It cost us $4 million to launch the model, and they saved $2 million. But we did it. We checked the damn box. We were the first small little company back in Virginia who could do this and create a lot of noise. Now you could do it for much cheaper, but it started because of that, yeah? And then natural language processing. Anybody use Spacey? NLTK? My friends, I love it. It's good. It's like a Swiss Army knife. It's not these monster LLMs that you always need. Spacey is good enough, and that's what I used back then, yeah? Natural progression worked very well, but the business problem changed that time. I'll come to it. Then it came to neural networks, and that is going to be my big theme today is that neural networks are a fantastic approximation of how our brain works, and because of that, they are here to stay. Every other architecture you're seeing today, the GPTs of the world, remember Albert, Distilbert, all those bird flavors, they were all neural network flavors, and they're really, really good. So any other algorithm you're going to see in the future is going to be some variant of a neural network because they are that good. But because they got us here, they can't get us to the place where we want to be. Yeah? And then Gen AI. So I am not at JPMorgan anymore. Between the acceptance of the speaker slot and this, something has changed. So I'm not at JPMorgan anymore. I've taken up a new role, that in a moment. But JPMorgan was the first time I worked on GANs, Generative Adversarial Networks, which is basically synthetic data for structured data. Yeah? And now you have the fancy word called LLMs, essentially doing the same thing, but for unstructured data. So the progression has been that until neural networks came about, everybody worked on 10-year-old technology. NLP has been around. Logistic regression has been around. XGBoost has been around for a very long time. So you're basically working off of stable technology, stable production pipelines. Life was good. Now we are all trying to build something that is 2 years old. Can you imagine that? People are putting it into chatbots for your customer service. Customer service, you're basically ruining your brand in 2 minutes. Yeah? But we are forced to do that because everybody wants to do Gen AI and there's FOMO. But remember, give yourself credit. You're doing something which is 2 years old. You can't expect your 2-year-old kid to go to office, do you? Now, but you're expecting to use it in a customer chatbot. Good luck to that. Right, so what I'll talk about is 4 areas of how I've seen the world change. How have the customers changed? How have success metrics changed? How has my work changed, which is the product manager, which is the technologist, which is the average software engineer, and how has the AI changed? And this is what will help you peek at the future. Yeah? I like this. I like this slide very much because this guy said exactly what we should all be focusing about, because remember what they said when they started the company? We want to be the most customer-centric company on earth. Man, hats off to that. Because that tenet has stayed true throughout. And you'll see me talk a lot about it because I have a lot of good examples where I followed the tenet and I was successful, and I ignored the tenet and I was a failure. Yeah? So focus on those things that don't change. Right? It's a variant of the neural network model. But what doesn't change? So, back in the day, how do we do AI? What is AI? It's going to cost a lot. I can't do it much more, so on and so forth. Now, how soon can I get it? Because the other guy got it. I want it. I want the new shiny thing right away. What do you mean inference costs? By the way, do you know what the newer, fancier term for false positives is? Hallucinations. Like any data scientist, like, yeah, we know that, dude. Like, we've been doing that. So it's all, old wine, new bottle, same old, right? And branding. Nobody would ever imagine putting out their branding at risk by putting an AI in a chatbot. The branding and reputation you've built over a period of time, and then suddenly you're not having a human in there, it is unthinkable. But people can do that very easily, and they say, oh, how wrong can we get? You know about the Canada Airlines case, where it hallucinated a whole new trip? They paid money. I don't think the company is doing very well. So the easiest way to lose your brand reputation you built very hard to build up is to use Gen AI poorly, right? So that's how the customer has changed. Am I becoming dumber with AI? So this is an anecdote for you. You will actually love this. And this is, I've not shared it in a public space, so this is just for you guys. So I had the good luck to meet Jason Biddle. Jason Biddle, CPO of Netflix. Know him? All right. So I asked him a question, how does he think about Gen AI? And he gave me 2 answers. First answer was, he says, I use a certain product. I've been using the certain product for 7 years, and I swear to God, I have become certifiably dumber because of it. I have become progressively dumber year after year because of it, because I like it so much, I've been using it so much. But it has freed me up so much to do other things that I love it. I know it's an AI product, but they've never shouted it in my face, it's an AI product. And that is the point, that your AI is your business. Your customers don't give the damn, because they have to save their business. Yeah? So his point was, you worry about the customer experience, the AI will take care of itself, the users take care of itself. And he gave me the example of Netflix, because his point was, People sign up to Netflix because of Stranger Things, because of that one cool thing people like. But what will keep you there? Only AI, only recommendations. Even then, I think they get it wrong. The best movie I love is Dark Knight. For all I care, all the recommendations should be just based on Dark Knight and life can go to hell after that. But they don't have enough content, which is okay. But it does a good job of still recommending me movies like Dark Knight. So the point I'm trying to make is the AI is your business, but the customers care about their business. They care about their experience. As long as you are able to center your world in theirs, the AI you use will not matter as much. And take it from the guy who's retired now and is spending time hiking in the mountains and giving free lectures like this. So back then, people didn't want neural networks because they were not explainable. People hated it. I don't want to do anything with it. Now you can't live without it. If you can think of a flavor of neural network, it's possibly true. There is called graph neural networks. There are geometric neural networks. There are liquid neural networks. Any other noun you can think of, you can stick it before a neural network, that's possibly true. Because it's exactly like that. It is able to generalize very well, yeah? Data was the new oil. Everybody had data in their databases, and because you couldn't process it, you remember you took it out of your Oracle databases, you put it into Spark, you ran commands, you ran big queries, and you extracted from it. Now business processes is a new oil. All the agentic hype you're hearing is basically you trying to automate your business processes. That's how it has changed, yeah? Expert only. Only a statistician worth their salt who could spell statistician without making a mistake could do data science. Right? Now, everybody's an expert. Everybody knows hallucinations, everybody knows token cost, everybody knows context windows. It's democratized. Good for us because people are using it, but it's in the hands of everybody now. Yeah? High costs. Prohibitively high cost. I can give you the Netiza example. It was $4 million to produce a logistic regression model that predicted churn for 2 million. Makes no business sense. That has not changed. The flavor of cost has changed. Now you have prohibitive large language models with insane token windows that are high. Good news for us is we still have to then develop business sense. We have to have ROI. That doesn't change. Yeah. One good thing again has changed is it was all structured data back then. Now it's all unstructured data. In my new role, I'm only talking unstructured data. I'm only talking graphs. I'm talking embeddings, vectors, semantic searches, because all the oil, all the insight you can draw from structured data is now done to death. Yeah? What else? I think two things are yet to happen. Two things are yet to happen. I haven't seen the DeepSeek movement for Gen AI yet like Hadoop was. People don't understand how big deal Hadoop was because you're now able to take a complex database structure like Netiza, which costs 4 million, and we could implement it, tiny little company in Virginia, for about $1 million. You see, that immediately made business sense to us, and we could reuse it again and again. So DeepSeek was that moment for us. It's pure engineering. You didn't need PhDs. You didn't need really smart PhDs who sat there and looked at data to come up with the DeepSeek model. It was 95% engineering. That was a pivotal moment when the world realized, man, you don't need GPUs. So for that huge acceleration to happen, we need a Hadoop moment. I'm wondering if it was DeepSeek. I'm hoping it's more there, but that's very, very important to happen. This next line, don't take bazooka to a bar fight, is to answer the question that don't use LLMs on structured data. People have this habit of sticking every damn thing into an LLM and asking it for a thing. Okay. If I were to build back that same churn model back then, I had about 2 million customers that I was looking at. I had call detailed record for them for about 2 years, which was like about 18 million records. So what that meant to me was I had to take 18 million, create about 820 columns for those 2 million customers. Imagine such a big white table, and then I had to process it in Netiza, and then use logistic regression top of it. Now I would use Spark, I would use XGBoost. Imagine doing the same thing using an LLM. Insane. The production cost of building that model, deploying that model is not even funny. Yeah, so don't do that. Just because it's there, don't stick the damn data in there and hope miracles will happen. It was not built for it. Yes, if you're going to supervise, fine-tune, continue pre-train an open source model on structured data, that makes sense. But the LLMs we know today have been trained on the knowledge of the world, which is essentially unstructured. Yeah, so please don't do that. Don't try it at home. This is dangerous. You'll get yourself fired. Yeah, don't do that. Now, how has my own evolution changed? Remember, minimum viable product? Yeah, it's dead now because nobody knows that. There's no viability left. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry is launching a competitive solution and a feature. It's minimum lovable product. And this I blame on the Facebook like button culture. I thought we had it bad. Now there's TikTok. So hardly are able to get attention spans of more than 10 seconds. Some people are smiling. They're not using it, that's why. People are using it are not smiling. I get it. But it is important for the youngsters. But attention spans are small, which means you have to be able to retain customers and not leave them. So viability. I used to take 3 months to prototype and design. My boss wants it in 3 days now. And I can deliver it. Streamlit in Python. I can write the data science code. I can create a web app and launch it very, very easily. Or I can do it in Figma, in Notion, whatever it is, because lovability. I want to test for lovability, which only I can get here. Right? I don't have to now. I don't have to prove feasibility. Now, the costs have changed. First, I have to justify taking the data, processing it, buying a huge database and getting there. I don't have to do that anymore. I just have to first figure out the LLM we can choose, the most ethical LLM. You know which one that is? You have to find an answer. But the point is, you have to first choose that. Then you have to build guardrails around it to make sure it works well. So the costs are still the same, but the question has changed now. Yeah? All right. So this is what I am doing now. This maybe you can use, you can replicate in the world that you want. This is the famous 4-diamond design. You know, design, develop, discover, and deploy. Yeah, the 4 diamonds that you use. I used to do the same thing all the time. Now my world has changed. The tools I use to do this have changed. That's why I'm able to be accelerated. That's why I'm more successful, because I'm using it for the right reasons, and I'm becoming very, very successful for it. So the new PM world will become this turbocharged world of using Gen AI in every step of the way and making my own life easy. Yeah, this is my toolkit. And this is what your products will be now. This is not my picture, by the way. This is a French gentleman. It appeared on a Medium article. I don't know why he has not patented it, but this is a fantastic example of how AI has evolved over a period of time. Can you guys think of a pre-AI product? Anyone? Any product that's not AI anymore, or is not even AI right now? No? All your CRM applications, all your ERP applications, there's no AI. You still have to manually type in everything. You guys are young and posh and sophisticated. You have no idea the suffering people have in those ERP worlds. I'm telling you, they're still back in the day doing it, yeah? Do you remember Gmail, the first day they started completing your sentence? That was a pre-AI product, and then it became an AI inside product. Because that day it changed from just you manually writing your email to letting you complete your email. Yeah? Well, now, what is an AI first product? Alexa. Do you know why Alexa is an AI first product? Do you know why Perplexity is an AI first product? The answer is simple. If the AI fails, the product fails. If Alexa fails, it's a dumb box. Who wants a box? Lots of people have boxes. So box is not the product. The AI is the product. So increasingly, you will see more and more products become AI first products. But the danger for you all builders is that if the AI fails, the product fails. Would you want a chatbot experience for your customers that fails because the AI has failed? And people want to book flights, they want to go on vacations, and the LLM decides to hallucinate, or your token size is too much, or your latency is too low. Would you, have your brand reputation be sullied by that? I don't think so. So for me, it's safe to be AI inside, because I'm old school, because I rely on software development life cycles. You know how old SDLC is? 30 years. Do you know how old MDLC is, machine development life cycle? 10 years. Would you put your faith in something that's only 10 years old? Not for a reliable business. Unless you have very, very good engineering practices, I hardly recommend doing that. Now, whichever company is doing it, They're doing it because they've engineered the solution really, really well. Right? But the evolution is going to go from left to right. I gave a lot of talks from about 5 years ago. I've seen an increase in proliferation from products from the left to the right. Existing products are improving. More and more products are being launched which are necessarily AI first. And that's what the world you're going to inherit. All right, so this is the new world now. Yeah, your data that you, on the left, you created data as a thing that you threw away. All your CRM applications, all your ERP applications, all your flight itineraries, what did you do with it? Nothing. Deepak wants to book a flight to Portugal. Big deal. He wants to fly to Portugal. The hell should we care about that? But if there's a pattern to it, maybe we can use the data, build some AI, and give him discounts. Or give him discounts to a neighboring European country. That's what's changing, right? So your new world is not your software development lifecycle, data development lifecycle, and product development lifecycle, but is also now MDLC, which sits very nicely over the data, which is able to surface those things for you. That's the new world you're living in. All right, this is my last slide. I have about 6 minutes left. I can take questions. But it's a very safe thing for me to say that. I have a good authority to say this because of my work at JPMorgan and talking to researchers. Neural networks are here to stay. Any architectures you're going to see in the next 5 to 10 years are going to be some variants of neural networks. Again, we're at the mercy of Google. Guess why? Attention is all you need. Anybody read that? Again, a Google paper. Again, a Google paper. They're just very distracted. Don't know what they're distracted with. The cloud still sucks. But they're very distracted because OpenAI took that paper, implemented it, and was the first to market. Which basically means every revolution we've seen so far is at the mercy of Google. You know about AlphaGo, AlphaFold, all those? Again, Google. Again, neural networks. No big change. So all the architectures, all the Gen AI, all the LLM you are going to see in the next few years are going to be neural network based. But there's a fundamental problem. The problem is that they can only extrapolate from the knowledge that exists, which means your inferences are never going to be greater than your training data. Right? For example, say, how did we arrive at quantum? Say, take the theory of light. It was always one thing. Yeah, I forget now which was the thing before discovered. So it is a wave. Yeah, then they figured it's a particle. Can you imagine that moment in time when that radical shift happened to say, my God, light can behave in two ways? Imagine how it was discovered and what knowledge did you have to create to understand the new reality. It had to be trial and error and experimentation. But it was a magnanimous human feat because it changed the realities for us. We thought of light as wave, became particle as well. But it's different from the belief that the earth is the center of the universe. That's just mythology and some people not willing to experiment. But that changed. I give you those two examples because we are at the same time thinking about what is AGI. All that is nonsense according to me because my third point is this. Even if AGI did arrive, how would we test it? Actually, I didn't think of this on my own. I was at a conference in Cannes. I was sitting next to a researcher at DeepMind. I was asking him, what are you working on? He said, AGI. Oh, it must be cool. Dude, forget it. Why? Man, all my life is just evals for AGI. What do you mean? Like, how do you test it? How do you know this is AGI? What do you mean? Well, if you ask it what's 2 plus 2 is, it'll give you 4. You know the answer. That's why you know it. You can verify it's correct. What if you ask a question you don't know the answer to? How will you know it has said the right thing? Now, this also precludes the fact that you know the question. AGI means general superintelligence. What if you didn't know the question? What if you didn't know the question, you didn't know how to ask it, it gave you an answer, and you don't know what the answer is, how to verify it? So, AGI is good for companies who want to sell computing and cloud. Not good for you and me. We are in the reality world. We have to ship products and services customers use. Not very useful to us. So my recommendation to you is not to be bothered about it, but be really, really worried about the product experience. Because it's not the flavor of AI. It's not your LLM. It's not the Anthropics of the world or OpenAI or Gemini. That's the problem. It's the context window you provided. Yeah. Last thing I'll tell you is, I have a 10-year-old, 11-year-old now. He's in school, and he's using AI. quite a bit. And this is what I tell him. In his age, the key thing he's learning is communication and language. If he's going to outsource that to the large language model, the hell is he learning? Yeah? So for my 11-year-old to use Gen AI is a clutch, not an aid. For me, my learning propensity is going to reduce. Yeah? My entropy is going to reduce a period of time because I'm going to become very, very niche. I'm going to be in a few audiences, in few places, and only talk about that because my knowledge is limited. So for me, it's okay to use Gen AI because it's not a core skill I want. So run the mile. Don't drive there because you're not trying to exercise the car. You're exercising your own body. What are you exercising? Yeah, I did use gamma.app to make the slides, but all the content is mine. Why am I saying this to you? If I take my CV, put it into an LLM and say, my talk title is this, create a talk title. It'll create a fantastic talk title. It'll create amazing slides. Here's my story. Forget my CV. If I just go on any gamma.app or any product and say, this is the title of a talk given by some guy, based on the information available on the internet, create slides for me. It can create slides. So where is me? Where is my own unique perspective? It is lost. So all I'm telling you is, think about your own unique perspectives. The more creative you are, the more diverse you are, it's harder to replace you. The more pigeonholed you are, the more specific you are, AI unfortunately is coming for you. Because the more describable the problem is, the easily automatable it is. Yeah, so be undescribable. And I can leave you with just 3 words, PBI. Please be interesting. Please be interesting. Thank you. I'll take any questions if you have. Yes, gentleman over here. He's my friend, so I don't know what he's going to ask me. It's a very loaded discussion. Is the mic coming?
Yeah, the question that I wanted to ask, and it was running in my head, and I thought I'd sort of catch it. I mean, for the benefit of everyone, I thought I'd ask it in public. Using Gen AI is still expensive. You pay for tokens,
yeah,
right? And one thing that, as a builder, that comes up with my team is, hey, if we do all of this with Gen AI, I mean, what do you do inside the LLM and what do you do outside the LLM when you build this, right?
Right.
Do you have to be mindful of this? I mean, this is something only someone like you can answer. So
right.
I really would like you to, you get what I'm asking,
right?
right?
So the question is, what should I do using the LLM? What should I do not using the LLM? Right? Where is a good use for? Right. So take an example of, say, understanding knowledge. Yeah. So anybody who's used NLP and Spacey, it is good. It is able to understand and comprehend your text. It is able to give you nice categories. For example, David Beckham. If you take Spacey, it will give you very nice categories. David Beckham is a footballer. He's Caucasian. He's male. Good. But you want to go deeper and say, what are the kind of companies David Beckham has invested in, which other footballers have invested in? Spacey can't answer that. Traditional NLP techniques can't answer that, right? For that, you use LLM, because think of LLM as a very over-anxious, eager intern who is desperate to please you and has read all the books and has no burden of understanding. It doesn't have the burden of understanding anything, right? Also, so the point I'm making is, wherever you need the full power of context, the breadth of knowledge, use LLM. Wherever you need to be specific, you don't need to use it. Yeah? I'll also say one more thing. I'm really annoyed about the stupid strawberry thing. Yeah? Let me just make it clear for you. Yeah? The reason it is not able to figure out the R's in strawberry is because you don't tokenize the word into letters, into individual alphabets. Why? There is no intelligence in predicting the next letter in a word. What are you going to get from that? But if you're able to predict the next paragraph, the next sentence, you're able to simulate realities. For example, if I get a witness statement, I'm able to ingest all that. I can predict what the witness is going to say next, which is useful. What is the point of predicting the next R in strawberry? So it can do it. It is ridiculously expensive to do it. It makes no sense to do it. So don't go on and on about, it's like you're distracting yourself from the point we're trying to make, which is Gen AI is good for general breadth of knowledge. If we're just going to be harping about it, it's wrong at strawberries, it's wrong at strawberries, it's for a reason. Yeah? And hallucinations are a feature. They were called false positives before. It's not new. Every data scientist knows that. It's not a bug. The point of prediction is that you will get it wrong. If you don't predict, if you're purely deterministic, you will never have false positives, right? But that's the nature of it. So don't treat hallucinations as an unnecessary feature. They just come with the territory. Think about that. How can you use it correctly? That's all. Yeah? Any other questions from anyone? Lovely. Yes, at the back.
Thank you, Deepak.
Yes.
It was really insightful.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a philosophical question. We have seen recent announcements of an LLM company investing in a data center infrastructure company for billions of dollars. That data center infrastructure company investing in a chip manufacturer for hundreds of billions, and then the chip manufacturer kind of investing in the LLM company for $100 billion. So my question is, do you think this is a bubble? And if this is a bubble, when do you think this is going to bust?
I don't want to be fired. I don't want to be fired. It is going to be recorded, so this will stay on my record. And this call is being recorded for training and quality purposes, isn't it? It is. All right. See, when you start a new thing, you have to democratize the cost of access. So you have to make it cheaper, right? You have to get it funding from VCs, because you're selling the damn dream, man. Nobody wants you to sell reality. So of course it's going to happen. There is no way this show can run without free VC money. The costs are ridiculous. Can you imagine tokenizing the whole internet, feeding it to a model, and creating and training a large language model and putting it out there in inference costs? It is not fathomable that if it does not work without free VC money. So there is no choice. Yeah? I would love to think there is a better way out of it, but I've been thinking it myself. There's no way out of this. So there is this snake biting its own tail. So unfortunately, you put words into my mouth. All I can say is I can neither confirm nor deny those accusations, but you're somewhere in that space. But I don't see a better business model than this. You have to democratize costs. You have to get it out there. But remember this, they get you hooked on, they will jack up prices by 10x. In India, we have this telecom bubble where everything was cheap. Reliance and Jio, who not, they made it very, very cheap for us. And then every telecom provider increased the cost by 4x. Man, we were hooked onto it like we were addicts. We love the data drip. We love the data drip every day, and then we hooked onto it. Now, it's ridiculously expensive, but we got to pay for it. So beware that LLMs will come that day where they will get expensive, but you'll be so hooked onto it, you won't have a choice. So just figure out a better business model for it, that's all. I can take one more, I suppose. I've not been asked to leave the stage, so I can take one more. They will push me out, and then I can go away. Yeah.
Thanks, Deepak. It was a really informative session, and I could relate to the 10-year journey which I had in India, so very empathetic. My question is, many companies now have a carbon emission zeroing down, decreasing by 30%, and also going behind the Gen AI. So how they are actually balancing that act?
No way. You're just going to increase more and more costs. You're going to get in more, buy in more and more electricity. That's why I'm going solar. My own home is going to become solar because I see we no way out of it. But there is hope in that the UK is doing something in fusion, right? And there are ways to make fusion more usable, but it is not one thing or the other. The moment you use more LLMs, you are going to increase cost of electricity. There's not going to be any other way out of it, right? This last slide to simply tell you that life gave me lemons, I made lemonade. That's all. I had no choice in any of this. I was given lemons and lemonade. So you could talk to somebody else and said, one guy who got lemons and made lemonades, maybe it gives you an opportunity to also look at it that way and say, I'm in a tough situation, what can I do? At least one guy made a lemonade, maybe I can do it too. Thank you very much.